In this video, I'd like to go over how to design a token economy. This part will be a lot more simple than the other parts because it's relatively straightforward, as we can see here by the little 4-step process that we have. What this means is, number one, first of all, of course, you need to have a company, right? You need to make sure that you have a business. You're selling products or services to customers. Every single Web3 project is a company. Right? They just don't want to admit it because they don't want to do anything that a real company does. But nowadays, the space has really changed, and we don't have Web3 projects anymore because they just die because they're terrible companies, right? And the space no longer supports that. Now we need to be a real company. So once you figure that out, then you can do all of these. Number one is you map out the different actors. Let's say you are NFT marketplace, right? You're an NFT market. Let's say you're an AI agent marketplace, right? So you need to map out all of the actors. So who are the different actors? So number one, you have you have the buyers, right? The buyers of the AI agents, right? Then you have the sellers. So you have the sellers or the creators of the AI agents, right? So they create them, then they upload them onto the marketplace. Where do they upload them? Onto the marketplace. So you have a marketplace over here. This will of course be maybe your main company marketplace, just like that. This already now is kind of number two. So number one and number two kind of do simultaneously, right? The actors are all of these guys. The elements are all of these things, right? So different parts of your ecosystem. Who else do you have? Well, maybe you have a VIP marketplace over here. So we can call this a VIP marketplace. This is specifically for, maybe it's B2B. Maybe this is, a B2C marketplace. This is a B2B marketplace. I don't know, maybe it's for institutions, whatever, right? But you have a VIP marketplace. Well, that means that you have VIP buyers. Oops. It means that you have VIP buyers and you have VIP sellers or VIP creators, right? So there we go. So VB, VC. Who else do you have? You have investors in this business, right? You have VCs selling tokens. Maybe you can add them here as well. Maybe all of your AI agents have tokens, right? Maybe you're like AI16Z. Well, if all of these have tokens, then you need to have, liquidity pools. So within these marketplaces, you have all of these. We just do this. Maybe we can do some lines here. You have all of these different liquidity pools, which are for every single AI agent, if you will, right? Maybe that means that we would need therefore some LPs. Maybe we can attract external capital. So we have LPs here, just like that. There you go. So now we have mapped out all of the different actors and all of the different parts of our business, of our product, whatever we're doing. Now we need to map out the flows. So of course, for example, the buyer, they will give money, right? And in return, they will get an AI agent. Well, the creators, of course, get the money, and they're the ones that bring the AI agents to the marketplace. The same thing happens here, where the buyer buys, the VIP creator creates, VIP creator earns money, the buyer pays the money, right? Then the creators also, maybe they need to, whenever they make the AI agent, they need to also create a token, okay? So in that case, they maybe are paying you some additional money or something like that to deposit money into the initial liquidity pools, right? For their particular AI agent, right? Maybe they want to attract external LPs, so then the LPs also deposit liquidity into the liquidity pool. They of course are earning some sort of revenue from the fees. Maybe the creators don't earn that, maybe they do earn that. Then you have the VCs. The VCs are of course selling tokens. In fact, maybe we can over here, maybe we can have an exchange, right? We can have a DEX. So this is when people are buying and selling tokens from. So you have the VCs. The VCs, they are, what are they doing? They're making money from the exchange because they are selling the tokens. Maybe orange is the tokens now, right? Of course, if you looked at the video before, the one token utilities, we already would have this on a high level designed, right, in the utility video, because you need to understand what your token utilities can be. So after watching that, we've visualized this on a high level, and now we've understood that, okay, well, the buyers and the creators, they're not going to be transacting in fiat. They're not going to be paying for stuff in fiat. They'll be paying for things in the token. So there we go. So that will actually be an orange line. This will be an orange line. The VAP buyers, maybe the VAP buyers, they have an option. They can do it in tokens or in fiat, and the creators can take tokens or fiat, right? The LPs, of course, they're just providing liquidity. The buyers, of course, would need to buy the tokens from the exchange, so they buy the tokens like that in order to give them to the creators, who can be connected like that. Same thing here. The buyers here are the ones giving the tokens to the creators. What else is there? Maybe the LPs, the additional LPs, they also earn some tokens as a little extra reward, right? Maybe it's a rev share from the creators here. Maybe a little part of these tokens that the creators earn, maybe some of that as a % rev share goes towards the liquidity providers, because now it means that the creators don't need to deploy as much. They don't need to deploy as much liquidity into the liquidity pool because it's supplemented by the external liquidity providers, for example, right? Maybe then this has this protocol also has some sort of governance involved. Maybe people can vote on different features of the marketplace. Maybe people can pay, the creators maybe can pay to have their AI agents at the top of this marketplace. So then the creators will be paying, there we go, the tokens to have their stuff, at the top of the marketplace list. Maybe there is some governance, right? So maybe the creators also, with the VIP creators, maybe they're governing as well, so they can stake the tokens. That's why it's a dashed line. They stake the tokens in order to participate in governance over here. There we go. We have now created a token economy. As you can see, mapping out the flows, that is us connecting all the lines, and mapping out the assets, that is me changing the colors of these lines to visualize where the token is used, where fiat is used, where the products and services are, where anything else is, so on and so forth. Now, what you need to do is you need to write out all of these things. So for example, you would need to add a little number 1 here. I mean, you can design this however you want, right? But this is how we like to do it. You have a number 1 here, you have a number 2 here, you have a number 3 over here, you have a number 4 over here, maybe a number 5 here, number 6. And then what you do, so you number all of these different flows. So then you you write number 1, buyer buys AI agent from marketplace. If I just move myself over here, creator creates AI agent and uploads onto marketplace, whatever it is, right? I'm sure maybe creator should be number 1, buyer should be number 2, whatever it is, right? Doesn't really matter. But you put the numbers in, you explain all of these flows. The reason why I do this is because, first of all, it allows you to understand what's going on and where and how. But secondly, it allows you to also understand where the money will be coming into the token and where the money will be coming out of the token. So for example, the VC selling tokens, that's a token faucet, right? That means that tokens are entering the market, they're being sold. Maybe the creators also, they are of course going to be selling tokens in order to get paid, right? So that is another token faucet. So we can see that. We can say the same thing for the VIP creators, right? What's a token sink? Well, for example, we can see that the buyers buying tokens, that's a token sink. That means that people are buying token away from, they're taking the token from the market. People voting in governance is a token sink, right? The creators paying in tokens to have their AI agent at the top of the market, marketplace, that's a token sink. Another token faucet, for example, would be the LPs earning an extra little bonus in tokens as a reward. That's a token faucet, because obviously what they're going to do, they're going to eventually just sell, the token onto the exchange. So by visualizing it like this, you can see how value flows, you can see who's buying the tokens, you can see who's selling the tokens, and you can see what the policies that you need to design are, what they're going to be. So for example, here we know we need to figure out how much are we rewarding the LPs. We need to figure out how much are people going to be paying to promote their AI agents. We need to figure out how much maybe how much the governance would require. Maybe there's delegated governance, and you have a council, like a board committee. Maybe it's just people staking a token and then they have one token, one vote. Maybe there's different types of governance. Maybe you have conviction voting. Maybe you lock your tokens up for a certain amount of time, you have more voting power, whatever. These transactions, of course, there will be some sort of fee attached. Well, how much is the fee? Right? How much is that fee going to be? How much is this fee going to be? All of these things, you now understand what and where and how. Now it's time to put the numbers to it. Now it's time to create the formulas. Now it's time to calculate how much money you have flowing around and how much money is captured by the token. What I mean by that is, for example, if you have, and this is a very critical part actually, this is before you move on to the supply side, you need to do this. If you have, for instance, let's say you have 1,000 buyers, right? You have 1,000 buyers, that's your projection. So you're going to have 1,000 buyers when you launch the project. 1,000 buyers, maybe they will be paying an average of, $20. Let's say they'll be paying an average of $20 per. Let me use something that's not yellow. Let's go with purple. They'll be paying $20 per agent, right? And there's 1,000 of them, so that means that, let's say that's per month, right? So that means that per month we have $20,000. Now, because they're paying for the agents in tokens, that means $20,000 is going to be applied for this token sync. That means there's going to be $20,000 worth of buy pressure coming from here. Okay, maybe there's going to be, let's say another 1,000 creators. I should have zero there. Let's say 1,000 creators, and let's say here it costs them $100 to put their AI agent at the top of the marketplace, or maybe it's a different section of the marketplace. Maybe it's a verified tick for the marketplace, whatever it is. This is a product conversation, right? So there you go. That's $100,000, right? That will be being spent on the buy pressure for the token. Maybe for governance, you get what I mean, right? You put these numbers, you have some sort of estimates for how many users you will have, how much they'll be transacting, how much they'll be paying, etc. You sum all of this together, you add it all up, and then from there you can calculate that, okay, I expect per month there to be, $120,000 worth of buy pressure from the token. Of course, we now also have our token sync, so we can say maybe half of the creators will sell all the tokens that they earn, right? Maybe we can say that, and we can say the same thing for the VIP creators. Maybe we can say that out of all of the LPs, maybe like 10% of them will be selling their token, right? 10% will be selling the token. That allows you to calculate the sell pressure. So we have $120,000 in buy pressure minus, let's say, $50,000 in sell pressure, or rather it'd be like $70,000 in sell pressure. So we have a net of $50,000, right? And then this is what now we're moving on to the tokenomics, onto the supply side, because you do all of this and you can calculate how many tokens you can emit each month. You can calculate the token valuation. You can calculate a lot of stuff. And we'll move on to that in the next few episodes of this course. But this is the second step. There's the visualization of your economy. It's the understanding of who your actors are, what they're doing, how they're trading, what assets are they using to do so. That allows you to quantify things. It allows you to understand where money's coming in, where money's leaving, and most importantly, how much money and how much value is retained, accrued and retained in the token. Stay tuned for the next episodes. We'll be discussing the tokenomics, the valuation of your tokens, and a bunch of other important stuff.